Am I the only kid in America that learned that we're all black?
That the original inhabitants of China and Japan were believed to be black.
We're actually mutants of the dark-skinned people.
We've been telling you that. We've been telling you that.
China and Japan had black kings and dark-skinned women queens. Before they bleached the bloodline of the Meiji dynasty, you had the Kuru, the black kings.
Asian people have always been African.
This is the tribe where Asians get all their features from.
Even China. China don't want to admit that the original people in China that brought forward the dynastic periods of China were black.
Am I the only kid in America that learned that we're all black? Like, I had a really cool teacher back in elementary school, and I can't believe I still remember this at 45 years of age. But he showed us a map and a theory that everybody came from Africa, that it was all one country. And one day there was like a natural disaster. I'm not sure if it was an earthquake or whatever, but then it split up into all these different continents that we see today. And of course, based off of where it split off, and if you're closer or further away from the equator, you're going to be a little bit more fair skinned, or you're going to be a little bit more dark skinned. And then the climate played a factor into why people look a certain way and how they develop certain features and whatnot to adapt to said climates. But originally, the world was one big piece of land, and we were all African. So when you say black folk are the original humans and creators of civilization worldwide, and Asians are a variation of black people, yeah, I'm freaking black. And that's why I can make a mean mac and cheese that's 7 layers deep. Because I'm black.
They just discovered, this Chinese geneticist just discovered, and you can see the video. He goes, well, in all my studies, I've realized that Asian people come from Africa. We've been telling you that. We've been telling you that. But, it's us saying it. He goes, and Asians come from the Xhosa. You know the Xhosa? That's an X. That's an X when they go. That's an X.
Down South Africa.
So they look like black Chinese people.
Yeah.
They discovered. They say we are from this southern. Did you see what Mandela looked like? He looked like a Chinese black man. You see his eyes?
Yeah.
We have the right to understand. Remember, he looked like a Chinese. The Khoisan people. If you look up the San people, they're the oldest people. But then they discover in England, they said, we are going to go and discover the oldest living person. He's a black dude. Did you know that? Have you heard of the Cheeseboro Man?
I did not know.
The Cheeseboro Man is a black fossil they found, and the British people like, no, bullshit. No, it's a black dude. We were here before you. You don't think we walked around? You don't think we're like, hey man, let's go over there? I don't think they sounded like that. But.
That sounded more like Eddie Murphy.
Asian people have always been African.
Hello, my friend. I noticed a range of strange statements you made in this video, so let's address them.
All human life, human. Human meaning color, people of color, okay, people of melanin.
By the out of Africa theory, all humans come from Africa, not just dark-skinned people, but all humans. That includes the populations of Europe. Even the Neanderthal or the Denisovan are believed to descend from populations that migrated out of Africa.
People should know that all African women, or what people call today black women, have the Eve gene. The Eve gene has the capability of reproducing any human being of any color, of any race.
This is what happens when you get your information from Facebook. You have a complete misunderstanding of what the Eve gene is. The Eve gene refers to mitochondrial DNA, which is passed down from mother to children. Now, if we were to trace back everybody's mitochondrial DNA, we can reach a single individual that lived over 100,000 years ago. Now, this supposed single individual that lived over 100,000 years ago is nicknamed mitochondrial Eve, hence the term Eve gene. Humans have developed different physical characteristics to adapt to different environments, as such characteristics are acquired through genetic mutations which have occurred over long periods of time. For example, the development of lighter skin is a mutation that helps adapt to low sunlight environments. Your ability to produce a child with a phenotype of a different ethnicity or race has nothing to do with what mtDNA haplogroup you're a part of. It's more so to do with who you choose to mate with.
Who are the indigenous people of South Africa? It's the Khoi and the San.
They're a very ethnic and genetically separate group, right?
Yes.
There's a lot of genetic and ethnic diversity in Africa.
Yes.
Bushmen, those people are very distinct. In fact, I've read that genetically they're more akin to Asians than they are to black Africans.
I've heard that too.
Yeah.
But the Khoisan people have haplogroup A. How do you explain that? A only exists on the African continent to any significant degree. Among ancient Ethiopian people, Pygmy people, and the Khoi and the San people, which is why some geneticists connect ancient Ethiopian and Khoi and San people.
What did you find?
We did not see any, even one single individual that could be considered as the descendant of the Homo erectus in China. Rather, everybody was a descendant of our ancestors from Africa.
The result couldn't have been any clearer. How did it make you feel as a Chinese person?
After I saw the evidences that we generate in my laboratory, I think we should all be happy with that, because after all, modern humans from different part of the world are not so different from each other.
See, this is why racism just doesn't make sense to me. You've got people in Africa who are literally the descendants of Chinese people. Look at their features. They got those Chinese features, the eyes, like the face in a lot of ways. Racism doesn't make sense because we all are connected to each other in some way. Prejudice, hate, all that doesn't make sense. This is the Jumasai tribe, and these guys are connected to the Nusa. Botswana, South Africa. My grandmother came from this tribe, kind of.
Whether they're European or whether they're Asian, like me, we're actually mutants of the dark-skinned people.
One more important piece of the puzzle was found in 2005, when cancer researcher Keith Chang was studying the black and white stripes of zebrafish.
There are a lot of zebrafish in my laboratory because I'm a geneticist and I study how mutations occur, which is how cancer occurs, and I use pigmentation to detect those mutations. By chance, the light skin-colored fish that I used for that research also taught us a lot about how Europeans, how humans became lighter skinned.
What Professor Chang discovered
我走，
跟你走，你们
对，我也到大钓鱼去。
行，那你带我走。
哎，可以。
那出发。走。
Even China. China don't want to admit that the original people in China that brought forward the dynastic periods of China were black. Japan doesn't want to admit that the original shogun was the priesthood that was brought from Kush. Indians don't want to admit that the Harappa and the Mohenjo-Daro civilizations were formed by Kushites. Koreans don't want to admit that Africans brought Koreans onto the islands of Japan, met another African people known as the Ainu, and created what we today call the Japanese culture. Even in America, they don't want to admit that the original people were the Twa people over 100,000 years ago, coming to this part of the world.
Individuals. Now, guess where all these Asians get all their traits from? A tribe called the Khoisan tribe. Guess where the Khoisan tribe is located at? Guess where, y'all? They are located in Africa. Why we don't hear about them like that? That's a real question, family. I know we laughing and having fun, but we still got to look at that. We saw CC Kids, Man, Lil Tay, all type of motherfuckers. Meet the Khoisan tribe, y'all. This is the tribe where Asians get all their features from. And as you can see, these are black people. All is being revealed. All is being revealed. These are the Khoisan, one of the oldest lineages on the planet.
Did you know that the original inhabitants of China and Japan were believed to be black? Known as the Jomon people, they arrived in China around 100,000 years ago, continuing to live there until the Qing dynasty. These ancient kings and queens were rocking their natural hair long before the 20th century. Around 35,000 BC, some of these Jomon people ventured into Japan, becoming the first humans to inhabit the Japanese islands. Later, another group, the Ainu, followed them. Today, the genetic legacy of the Jomon people remains strong, with their genes found in 40% of modern Japanese, as well as in Mongolians and Tibetans. This incredible history connects Africa to Asia in ways often forgotten. The Jomon people's influence, from their hairstyles to their genetics, still shapes the cultures of these regions today.
When we look at people of Asian descent, we say that those are Chinese eyes. Those are not Chinese eyes. Because the reality of this is that I could take you into parts of Mali, in Africa today, that you will see African folk that look very Asian. There are parts of the people that live around the Sahel that if you looked at them, you would think that they were Chinese. You would think that they were Asian because of their eyes are so slanted. Look at Nelson Mandela. Look at his eyes. Why is his eyes like that? It is because he comes from a people known as the Khoisan. The Khoisan were a people who today are called derogatorily. They're not probably today called it, but they were called derogatorily Hottentot Bushmen. The Kalahari Desert, strong winds. Africans would slant their eyes because the winds would blow in their face. As the winds blew in their face, they would slant their eyes. Nature has it again. Nature loves us. So that when you are born into a system where you are forced to slant your eyes, as the generations continue, your generations, your descendants are born with slanted eyes so that you don't have to exert that muscular situation on your eyes. So Asians being caught in the Caucasus Mountains, when you look at Asian people, you will notice that in this area here, you will notice that like the Japanese, the Chinese, Korean, all have different slants to their eyes. Some eyes go up, some eyes go straight back, and some slant down. It's according to where you were in the mountains or where you were in terms of those ice winds blowing in your face. Now, it's 2,000 degrees. Now, we ain't talking about the wind chill factor yet. When you talk about the wind chill factor in terms of snow blowing in your face, you're going to squint your eyes. If you're in the part of the mountains where the winds blew up, your eyes would slant up. If you're in the mountains where the wind blew right straight in your face, your eyes slanted back. And if you were where the wind blew down on you, your eyes slanted down. It is a biological, it's a genetic piece that we have to look at as a people. That is why we are all related as a...
At this point, we must mention that what we found in our research actually connects Japan to many African languages from Kenya, Ghana, South Africa, Zambia, and even Mauritania, signifying that there was a very ancient contact, perhaps in deepest antiquity, when there was a more homogeneous African lingua franca, perhaps spoken by the Jomon and the Ainu people, Japan's earliest inhabitants who came from Africa and later intermarried with Mongoloids and had replaced the original African population of small black Negritos that had populated the entire earth, including Japan, before any other group of people. A new genetic study suggests that the Japanese are more mixed with Africans than other East Asians. The ancient Japanese probably originated from the ancient Edo people of Nigeria. From prehistory, the Benin people have been known as the Edo people. The original name of Japan was Edo. The Edo founders of the Benin Empire used to be ruled by the Ogiso, kings of the sky. The Japanese call the emperors sky kings. The Edos of Benin were and are a pure warrior clan. The Japanese are a pure warrior clan.
Have you ever seen these photos? Photos of people in the Philippines, Malaysia, Thailand, people that have dark skin, Afro-textured hair, and features that we would see as sub-Saharan African rather than quote-unquote Asian. Some may even see these people and think, maybe these are descendants of some sort of slave trade, which brought Africans to these places, like how the Arab slave trade brought the Siddis to South Asia, who have a population of up to 1 million people, or how the Ottoman slave trade brought the ancestors of the Afro-Abkhazians to the Caucasus. But the reality is, these people aren't migrants, they aren't settlers. These are people living on their ancestral lands, dating back to our lineage's first migrations into Southeast Asia. So how do these people exist? Where are they from? And how are they related to other groups like Melanesians, Australians, and the isolated
China and Japan had black kings and dark-skinned women queens. Before they bleached the bloodline of the Meiji dynasty, you had the Kuru, the black kings. Yeah, look it up. Kuru means black, means king. Same word they use now for the black paint, it used to mean us. Ever heard of the Jomon? People with thick hair, dark skin and broad faces? They were the original islanders. Every archaeologist worth their student loan knows it. The bones don't lie, but the university paychecks do. Check the Toko University digs. They literally found Afro-textured hair impressions in ancient pottery. Receipts, baby. Then you add the Satsuma and the Ryukyu, nobles down in Okinawa. Darker than half your cousins on the funeral day in July. They traded with Africa and Indonesia before Europe could even spell ship. You want sources? Look at the Portuguese travel logs of the 1500s. They describe the rulers as brown and tattooed like Moors. And don't get me started on the black Buddhist monks coming from Sri Lanka and India. They're the ones who taught martial arts in China before Bruce Lee, the great master, could even became a thesis topic. Shaolin didn't start with no pale-balled action kung fu movies. Go look up the Bodhi drama. He ain't white, he ain't this Asian. That man looked like he eat fufu for breakfast before they painted everybody pale and pretended we ain't never exist. The rulers of the East look more like your aunties and uncles after a hot summer day. These were the Jomon queens, Shang kings, Okinawa sea lords, black shogun, the Moorish monarchs who ran the Silk Road before silk even had a price tag. But then the Meiji boys got insecure. China started bleaching its history books. The Mongols got whitewashed, like they dropping a bucket full of baby powder. Everybody want to act like Asia been pale since Shah Dynasty. Lies. Before the erasure, Europeans were still writing about black nobles in Japan, calling them Moorish Asiatics, and drawing them with afros, broad noses, and broad kimonos.
大爷，你们去干什么呀？
我们钓鱼这边水钓员。
钓鱼。F4男团，我也去钓鱼，能不能带我一起？
可以。
走，咱出发。
好。
Like say I be Chinku guy, so this is the way I look. Like, let's say I'm from China. Correct Chinese Igbo guy. No play.
Weezy out here.